All this extreme festival of motorsport action is proudly brought to you by Hankook Tires, Risk Sure, and Pirelli Tires. Welcome to Cape Town. It's the Killarney International Raceway, and great to see the Hankook Formula Vs and Sports and GTs coming to be part and parcel of the Extreme Festival of National Motorsport. We start with the single-seaters now, and Hankook Formula Vs start their championship in the mother city. Last year's champion Jaco Schricks will definitely be the man with a big target on his back, as both Gert van den Berg, Lucien Ramchunda, Peter Hills, Brandon Hills, and look out for Symm GROBLER as they go hunting for that championship and that number one plate. Difficult to keep that number one plate, particularly when you're in a field of 24 Formula V cars. Great to see them all out here, ready to have some fun and games here on the Black Stuff. We're on board with the wheel collision machine, and this is Symm GROBLER's point of view of the start. He gets a good drive off the line and comes alongside the 49 there, and looks like Richard Carr might be in for a little bit of fun and games down towards KFM corner, but it's Schricks who leads out. It's almost 1, 2, and 3 in the championship as they go through turn 1 for the first time, and KFM corner I'm sure is going to see lots of action here this weekend. Making their way through now, and it's Schricks side by side with Gert van den Berg. Van den Berg looking for a way to go around the outside into turn 2. G Energy corner. Oh, a little touch. Looks like there's some problems. GROBLER's run wide. GROBLER runs wide all on his own. Some of the 49 car gets back on. Richard Carr just able to get going again. But GROBLER, as you can see in the background there, goes right to the back of the field. There's a lot of work now to be done by that man. Up the field, yeah, that's Peter Hills under a bit of threat. As you can see, coming through there is Jason Krayling. Watch out for Thomas van der Merwe and Sean van der Linde as they all start to get to grips with each other, coming through onto the back straight now for the very first time. Hills under a bit of threat there. The 35 car runs wide. Thomas van der Merwe looking for a way past. Can't find it just yet. And look at that, chop and change there. Looking at that inside line down onto this back straightaway. Back straight is where things can change up rapidly. It looks like Gert van den Berg might go for the lead here. 3 by 3 further back. Anybody got what it takes on the brakes? Yes, Peter Hills does. But he's, just outgunned there from Van der Merwe. Van der Merwe diving on his inside. The rest of the pack come through there. Just behind them, you can see just starting to sort things out there. Vaughan Hills having some fun and games there. Nicholas van der Merwe, look out for Blaze Nicholas as well. Lots of contenders. And all of them enjoying the action so far. That was lap 1 completed. And how about that? Just for the first lap. And so much action. They're basically running in numerical order how they finished in the championship last year with Schricks, Van den Berg, and Ramchunda, the men to watch out for. This is the replay here. As you can see, Carr just gets out of shape there. Richard Carr just spins out off the little tap, and that just forces the wheel collision man to go onto the dirty stuff here in G Energy corner. And of course, this is turn 2 at the circuit. GROBLER drops right back, and I think he dropped back to about 2nd or 3rd last on the circuit. Van den Berg leads out with Schricks on his tail now as they go back through the Jaguar sweep and through Malmesbury and onto that back straight. You can see Schricksy now just marking the man in front, allowing Van den Berg to set the pace. 91 comes flying into sight. That's the first time we've seen him now. That is Lionel Janssen in the Bull Securities car, trying to put the pressure here onto Peter Hills. This is Hills down the back straight, and everything she's got in a Formula V, close to 200 k's an hour, maybe just over the 200 k an hour mark there as they come onto the brakes, and a change up for the lead. Schricks hits the front again ahead of Van den Berg. Behind them it's Ramchunda, Krayling on the back end of Ramchunda as they come onto the main straight and down Port Straight. All problems. Pulling to the sideline is that Ben Jack Phillips. It's either him or Vaughan Hills that's got some issues there. Oh, Lionel Janssen late on the brakes, diving through, trying to get that Bull Securities machine a little bit further up and going at it side by side with Richard Carr as they came down onto the breakers for turn 1 KFM corner. And they get it all sorted out now. Yes, they will, just in the background. Great action here. Sean van der Linde in the lime green machine looking for a chance to go a little bit further up. Ramchunda's broken away ever so slightly there, and I think he might have just left Jason Krayling into the clutches of Peter Hills. He's trying to close down on those top 2. And speaking of the top 2, as they come along the KFM straight into Jaguar sweep, it is Schricks from Van den Berg, Lucien Ramchunda. 1, 2, and 3 are 1, 2, and 3 as they get onto that back straight away. Look at that slipstream effect coming into play there. Has Van den Berg done enough to use that slipstream and use the braking? It's late braking from Gatti, and he gets through. Good drive there. Perfectly timed and perfectly positioned car to get him up into the lead. Schricks had to give way. It's not done yet, though. See the crowd in the background making lots of noise. They are loving this, but it's because of this battle. Check this out. Carr going at it with Hills and Lionel Janssen. This is top-class racing coming out of our Formula Vs, and it is absolutely amazing to see them go at it like this. The four-wheel version of superbike racing, we've always called them. And Peter Hills, of course, an ex-motocross champion in his own right, knows what to do in this category. And there are, I think, 9 or 10 South African champions in the mix here today. Oh, this is super. Look at that, around the outside. Problems, though, for the 11 car. Vaughan Hills comes in. So the previous car was Ben Jack Phillips, and that's Vaughan Hills now pulling out of the race. little bit further back, you can see, looks like a couple of issues as well. A little bit of slowing down there. Maybe David Austin with a problem now as well. But as we get onto this back straighter, look at that. Trixie going defensive this time. He managed to squeeze through on Gert VAN DEN BERG, but VAN DEN BERG is going to make him work hard for this win. The champion from last year, the previous champion, is on his tail. And of course, the man who wants a championship probably more than most is the 3 car there of Lushan Ramchanda. They come into the checkered flag, and look at that. There's literally a second and a half between the top 3. This is the kind of action you get out of Hankook Formula V, and why the crowds love to watch these single-seaters as they go at it like this. Schrix wins out ahead of Gert VAN DEN BERG. Lushan Ramchanda comes through for 3rd place. Eventually, Lionel Janssen finishes in 4th place, beating Peter Hills. Jason Grayling in 6th place, beating out Byron Mitchell in the Dolphin Engineering Machine. And then it was Sean van der Linde in the Truck City Boksburg Formula V in 8th place. Let's catch up with Gert VAN DEN BERG and talk us through the first race.
I think Jaco had it all planned out. He actually saw my dad showing me the laps remaining, so he caught up to my strategy a bit there. But I think the second race is going to be awesome, and we'll see how it goes, and I'll have to think of a different strategy this time.
Welcome back to Killarney International Raceway and continued action from the Extreme Festival of Motorsport. And you can see the Extreme Festival of Motorsport caters not only for the on-track action, but off-track as well, catering for the kids and the big crowds that have come out here to support. Speaking of support, don't get much better camaraderie than down in pit lane. MD Best had a big one in qualifying, and his car was put together very quickly to ensure all 24 cars started race 1. And you can see them all working together now to try and ensure that they stay 24 strong now for race number 2. Lots of local support as well, and local drivers joining this big field, the biggest ever in Formula V history. Peter Hills in the Loop Fusion car will take us off the line for the second start. And for the first time in V history, it's now determined, the grid that is, by your second fastest lap from qualifying. So on the pole position, it was Schrix, and looks like he's going to hang on and take the whole shot down into turn 1. Richard Carr, a man who surprised a lot of the people here in Cape Town, a local driver, already up there into the mix and looking for a chance for another top 5. He's going to be fighting hard with Lushan Ramchanda, who already goes side by side and looks to go around the outside of Peter Hills, but Hills has already gone into 3rd place. On the inside there, much better start from Symm GROBLER. He had suspension failure after that little off in race number 1, but he's managed to get the car back on, and the Automecha car now in 5th place behind Ramchanda. As he's starting to get in the mix here, a little bit of a change up, and look at Jason Grayling applying the pressure. Oh, a big dive on the inside. Didn't quite make it stick, but he's certainly right there and looking for a way through. He has got a hard charge coming from Byron Mitchell and Sean van der Linde in there as well. Van der Linde had a fantastic outing, got into 8th place there, and looks like he's going to be looking for the same here in race number 2. We're on board with Symm GROBLER as they go down here. And this is where things get real in a V. It is absolutely everything she's got. Remember, these guys are now running a Polo engine as opposed to the old Beetle engine they used to run. And now, the performance of these cars, very impressive. And on these Hankook tires, they seem to be handling really nicely. Come onto that back turn, and that bank turn at turn 5 makes it so cool, particularly for the road tires. Gives them a little bit extra grip, and that's what's allowed Symm GROBLER to go on the attack. And on the inside of Ramchanda, has he got what it takes on the brakes? This is the old man taking on one of the youngsters, and definitely one of the most hungry drivers in this pack is Ramchanda. But GROBLER showing that he's still got what it takes. Check out that, trailing around the outside. They are nearly 2x2. In fact, they were nearly 3x3. And Richard Carr had the best seat in the house there, watching as he came in from the back. Front 10, VAN DEN BERG hangs on ahead of Schrix. Ramchanda goes a little bit squirrely, and he hits that bump. The bump into that turn 2 makes it very difficult to control the car, and you can see he lost out of position there. It's allowed Grayling to squeeze through, and Grayling has got through on Hills as well. Hills must have been watching those mirrors and just saw what was happening in the background. So Peter Hills now in the Loop Fusion car, looking to try and close down on the man who's just gone through on him. Here he goes, diving on the inside, and he's got him into Malmesbury. This is a massive move. You don't see a lot of Formula V drivers able to put a move into Malmesbury, and he's done it. He gets through and moves up. The little fight here is allowing the top 2 to get away, so Hills is actually disadvantaging himself there ever so slightly and allowing VAN DEN BERG and Schrix to get away. There's nothing that Hills can do about it, though. He's having to fend off not only one car, but there's about 3 or 4 of them in there, and they're all looking for opportunities. But further back, you can see there Vaughan Hills, Theodore Vermaak, Blaze, Nicholas, and MD Bester, all having a great outing, and good to see that all the work they put into that car is now paying off for the youngster. He had a big moment in turn 2. Fortunately, he survived, got the car back on track, and now fighting for a possible top 20 here in his first outing ever in a Formula V. All running wide. Is that Kralin? Kralin runs a bit wide. Yes. No, it was Richard Carr. And he's gesticulating to somebody. Not happy about that. And Carr now having to fight it out with the usual contenders and a couple of his local Formula V drivers as well. Kralin dives on the inside of Hills. Hills going to have to slot in behind him. And he's right on the... Oh, Ramchundra, I was about to say. And then around the outside comes Carr. Richard Carr diving on the outside and now tucks onto the inside for turn number 4. Right behind them, Brandon Hill singing himself, hang on, I need a bit of this. This looks like it could be good. A bit of fun here. The 7 car coming into mix as well. Ben Jack Phillips, he didn't have a first outing that he wanted and unfortunately retired from race number 1, but it looks like he's having a much better outing now. Speaking of better outings, well, Van den Berg goes defensive again and keeps Schricks behind him. Schricks just waiting to pounce. They're going to wait a little bit longer in this race. It's not quite done yet. Further back in this pack, Symm GROBLER just falling by the wayside ever so slightly. He's dropped just outside of the top 5, so now looking for a top 10 finish. Speaking of finishes, the man looking for the finish of note is that Hankook car of Gert VAN DEN BERG. He definitely wants to take 1 for 1. He doesn't want to give Jaco Schricks a double win here, particularly at the first round, and then head to Pakisa for round number 2. Whether or not that's going to... Oh, look at this. Schricks is all over him, looking for a chance, but he's not good enough on the brakes. And he's going to have to work harder than that, but have a look at this battle for third. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cars fighting for third. That is brilliant stuff. This is only found in Formula V, there's no doubt about it. Symm GROBLER's in the middle of that pack, and he's trying to find a way through to get a little bit higher up than where he is right now. But it's very difficult conditions at this stage because there are 9 cars, and there's no place to play. You can't go into corners 3 by 3 when you've got 9 cars fighting for the final step of the podium. Now Schricks, he goes on the hunt. Has he got the slipstream? He tucks in behind Van den Berg. Here comes the third place battle. And it looks like Richard Carr is leading things out at this stage. Yes, he is. The local man is leading things out at this point. Oh, Schricks goes inside, has to go up on the high side of the banking, and just gets a good drive. Gert VAN DEN BERG looks like he might have just missed a gear there. Yes, I think he has. Look at that. Side by side to the line, and 0.4 of a second between them. Schricks, he takes it. Just across the line. In fact, it's 0.04 of a second there between them. Carr takes third place ahead of Ramchundra. Kralin right there as well. Then Lendl Janssen and Brandon Hills and Symm GROBLER thinking to himself, where do we go? There's not enough time to play here. We need some more laps. Schricks, he takes the win ahead of Van den Berg. Carr comes through for third place. Local man taking it onto the podium ahead of Ramchundra. Kralin Janssen and then Brandon Hills and Symm GROBLER making up the top 8. This bodes well for a great 2019 season. Let's catch up with the double winner, Jaco Schricks.
It was phenomenal. I wasn't actually planning on it being that close. I had a slight mistake. I hit a patch of oil on the back there last lap. So I had to do a bit of a do or die move, but it worked out fantastically well.